Hello, everyone. Apparently, we are live. Very warm welcome to the demo day of Season 1 and 2 of the Visa Innovation Program, and that is led by 11 Ventures. My name is Renée Tomova. I'm a design partner at 11 Ventures, and I will be your host today during this event. Here with me, ready to watch the videos of the startup pitches in our demo day, are three people, of whom you see only two. So one is Stoil Vasilev. She's a GM of Visa for Bulgaria, Greece, and Cyprus, and a huge champion of the Visa Innovation Program. Daniel Tomov, managing partner of 11 Ventures. And Ozanos Turk, who is joining us from Istanbul, and he's Visa's head of strategy and market planning for Southeastern Europe, and the person without whom this program would have never happened. So welcome, guys. Very good to see you here.
Thank you, Renée.
And to Zan, hi, wherever you are. I can't see you. Now, this is going to be a different demo day because we are used to having a lot of people around us and the startups live. Unfortunately, with the pandemic and the way that things are unfolding, this is not possible. So the bad news around us, we decided to counterpoint them with some videos that you guys will watch, and we have asked the startups to enjoy themselves, have fun, and produce really artistic videos that show their potential. So stay with us and you will see their artistic talent. We are also going to have a fireside chat led by Roy Ben Daniel with a couple of startups from Greece, from the Visa program there, that will talk about scaling startups and growing startups, fintech startups in Europe. And in the end, we are going to have a keynote speech from Stoil Vasilev. He's VP of Business Development from SumUp. So he will talk to us about the future of payments. How will payments unfold in the next 10 years? So that would be a very interesting speech as well. So stay until the end. As I said, the startup founders have prepared really fun videos. We have scary people, flying people, naked people, all sorts of ingredients that make a good demo day. But before we delve into the startups, I would like to give Sevi the word to say a couple of words about the program and Visa and how you feel about all this. Sevi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Renée. And good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you from me as well. Let me start by telling you a short story. 62 years ago, Visa began its journey with a simple idea to transform commerce and payment. What if money became fully electronic and consumers could use it at any time, wherever they happened to be, 7 days a week? This extraordinary idea actually belongs to Payhawk, who is the founder of Visa. And today, his vision comes to life all around the world, 65,000 times per second. So by turning cash into card payments, and in today's world, digital payments actually, it's fair to say perhaps that Visa is one of the, if not the oldest fintech in the world. And despite the fact that Visa today is among the top 10 companies in the world with a market cap of $430 billion US, I'd like to say that fintech and innovation are very, very close to our hearts. Actually, they're in our DNA. So we understand the value that fintech brings to the world of payments and commerce, but we also understand the challenges that these young challenger, and not that young, I mean, whoever the new challengers actually face. So therefore, we want to help them. We want to support them along the way by opening our network, partners, contacts, and technology to help them build, test, grow, and scale. So why? Because we at Visa believe that digital payments are a catalyst of digital economy, and actually they spur economic growth. Because we believe that digital payments are actually a source of empowerment for small and medium businesses, for women, for a number of underserved audiences around the world. Because we believe that challengers like fintechs actually challenge the status quo and play a pivotal role in disrupting the traditional way we do business, traditional way we trade, traditional way we actually support and give financial services, even public services, I have to say. Because we believe in collaboration with everyone, with our community partners, with financial stakeholders, with challengers, with VCs like 11, and because there is a huge abundance of opportunities out there that we need to transform into the digital rails. Huge new payment flows that have been unlocked throughout the COVID, and we believe that they're here to remain, like the government disbursements of aids to people, to businesses, B2B, B2P, government to consumer, government to business, and vice versa. So I've recently read an estimate that it's about $185 trillion in new payment flows in moving money end to end. So we speak a lot that we are transforming into digital economy, and COVID is a great kind of booster. So this was one of the possibilities, the positive things about COVID, if one could say about that. So, but nevertheless, we have $17 trillion spent in cash by consumers, roughly the same by businesses. And digital commerce, despite this acceleration that we've seen lately, is just 14% of the global commerce. So, huge opportunities. And fintechs, and why we actually run this program together with you guys at 11 is because we believe they have a role to play to actually transform the global ecosystem, reduce the cash economy, bring inclusion and digital payments to be accessible for all. So that's the why. The how is actually closely related to our today's demo day. I said about the open network through the Visa Developer Platform. So VisaNet, which is the biggest network in the world of payments and technology, has been translated into APIs for developers and fintech so that they can actually test and implement their solutions. We have the Fintech Fast Track program, where we are speeding up the onboarding of fintechs and are supporting them. And so far, just for a year or so, we have 140 companies already onboarded. And the Visa Innovation Program, which is the epitome of everything we do here. And I'm so proud to have Sofia alongside Berlin, Dubai, London, San Francisco, Miami, Tel Aviv, you name it. And it's the hometown of the Visa Innovation Program in Bulgaria. And we've done it with you guys for all these people out there who want to actually come and disrupt the industry. So I'd like to say to the startups that are presenting today and to the others like them and that are going to be presenting perhaps in the future as part of season 3, 4, and so on, they should feel really proud of what they've done, and they should feel belonging to the innovation family of Visa. And because it's our first demo day of the first 2 seasons, I think it's a major milestone for all of us. We started in 2018 with Dani and Ozan and René, and it wasn't easy, I have to say. So we were pushing through what was then an idea to become a reality. So we were like a startup with the Visa Innovation Program in Sofia, and we had to prove to the world that Sofia deserves it. And that there are so many bright and great companies out there, not only from the country, but from the region, that deserve it. So I'd like to thank our clients for their engagement and the proactive collaboration through the proof of concepts, projects, even contracts with our startups. I'd like to thank our broader partners, community partners, your partners, for playing ball with us in this program. And I'd like to congratulate the startups. And my address to them is like, keep walking, keep doing, and keep dreaming, because the world is out there for you. And without further ado, I'd like to give the floor to the first of our startups, so the first video of our startups today. It's the one of Iris. And let us actually see How does Iris use open banking to support financial institutions and innovative companies to give better value to their customers? So Iris, the floor is yours. And thank you and enjoy the day.
Hello, I am Michael, and I have been a banker for more than 15 years. And I know that banks and innovative companies have more potential to serve their customers better. Open banking provides such an opportunity. We are bankers and software executives sharing a common belief in open data and free communications. The data about people and their business is everywhere, in public registers, in state agencies, in social and business networks. The financial data of individuals and companies, how they spend money, where and how they save, what they buy, where they like to shop, and how they prefer to do it, it's locked away. This data describes their behavior, their habits, their lifestyle, and how they run their business. All that data is not utilized, neither by the people who own it, nor by the thousands of companies who develop services to help them live better lives or do successful business. The data is the energy for the next generation innovations and the most valuable currency. Iris solutions aggregate financial data and provide open data platforms and new payment solutions. We empower banks and innovative companies such as Cashwave, Payhawk, Breezy, NullaBG to unlock the financial data stored in the bank accounts and to produce better services and products for their customers. Personal and corporate finance management, UX and efficient payment methods, customized offers, cashback and loyalty programs. Iris Solutions is an EU licensed payment institution and we treat information with the same security as a bank. In our platforms, we have integrated the Bulgarian banks and a dozen of banks in the region, and we continue. Data is a real currency, and we help it makes the world go around.
Thank you very much, Michel. Wonderful video. So let's hear it from our commentators. Ozan, I don't see you. Hi, it's so good to see you. Hi. Okay, that's much better. So I was thinking to ask you, how do you see the future of open banking? Why did you choose Iris as part of the program?
To sum up the view around open banking, I see it as the future of the financial industry. It's gonna be it's growing. I mean, the alternative solutions and the consumer preference against traditional services is growing, and it will continue to grow. Indeed, a couple of days ago, Bloomberg has published its report. Now, around 30% of the consumers are preferring new generation services over traditional banking services, and this tells me one thing: there is a big change happening. It's not a hype anymore. It's indeed sustainably growing preference, consumer preference, and more than that, it will be better, and it will be even more. It's going to be even more accelerating, and the engine behind this will be the APIs, and the APIs are facilitated by open banking. So I see open banking as the future of banking indeed.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Daniel, I have a question for you. How do you think Iris and open banking are going to contribute to the accelerating fintech startup ecosystem in the region?
Welcome to everybody from me. So Iris, I think it's one of these companies that provide the fundamental infrastructure for innovation in fintech, because this allows many fintechs actually to use this infrastructure in order to get access to data of clients that is spread across different financial institutions, and actually to provide innovative services. And we already see this in many other markets, in the US, in Europe. And the great thing is that when we had Iris in the program, just within a month, they already were in talks with the other startups around, like Payhawk, like Cashwave, Boleron, actually, in order how to support these fintechs in actually accelerating their services. And actually, because of Iris, they made quite a technology leap with their development.
Great. Okay. Perfect.
And
yeah,
just one comment
course.
for Iris, that our two lovely colleagues, Ozan and Daniel, forgot to mention. We are very proud with Iris coming to the Visa Innovation Program because this is the first woman-founded startup which is entirely in the technology area. Yes. So congratulations to Iris and Gala for that, yes.
Okay, let's move on to our second startup. That's Cashwave, a company that transforms employee perks and benefits into digital loyalty currency. Stoicho, I give you the floor now.
Usually, HR managers have their plate full dealing with talent acquisition and retention, while administering employee benefits and compensation. As the pandemic struck, HR teams faced another challenge: to quickly transition entire organizations to virtual office mode, while keep the workforce engaged and productive. In some industries, HR departments had the difficult task to reduce pay, and in some cases even execute redundancies via Zoom. To help HR professionals during these extraordinary times, Cashwave has now launched a service which simplifies the popular corporate perk called employee discounts. It ensures frictionless use for the employee and no administration costs for the company. Did you know that in the US alone, corporate employees miss on $8 billion in savings every year? But why? Employees must remember to use coupons. It's difficult to remember long lists of retail offers, and HR departments have a lot of administrative work. With Cashwave savings, there are no more coupons, no administrative work for the HR departments. All employees have to do is to pay with their debit or credit card, and Cashwave takes care of the rest. In the current economic situation, employee discounts are becoming more relevant and desired by the workforce. Why? It's a perk that an employee actually sees and uses every single day, like grocery shopping, online shopping, fuel, dining out. It shows that the HR department and management understand the challenges all our employees are facing. And even a small HR budget can afford it. At Cashwave, we already serve an installed base of millions of Fortune 500 employees through our partnerships with the top 10 global rewards programs. Now we're extending a helping hand to top management and HR departments who really want to show care to the employees through savings on everyday purchases. It is through care that leadership can really add value to people.
Great, thank you, Stoicho. Daniel, I was thinking Stoicho is trying to disrupt a very old industry that is working in a stale way. How do you see this moving along? What will make him successful in this and his team?
I mean, it's very interesting because it's really very old, because it's still a niche industry with a pretty huge volume of transactions there, which is still on paper and still even in some places not on Excel. So it's very old. It's not digitalized, and now with the technology, the way it's advancing, and with the new ways of payments, there is a totally new way of how everything could happen. And actually, Cashwave is doing very well in that respect, and this could actually enhance the way companies engage with their employees and how they organize their benefits and everything else. So I think that it's a very good niche that could actually be enhanced in adjacent niches in the future.
Great. Sevi, what's your take on this product?
I'd make a connection to my opening speech. Actually, this is one of these new payment flows that we need to transform into digital rails.
Absolutely.
That's business to consumer, so employers to employees. And it has another connotation which is very, very strong, is that talent is so scarce nowadays, so employers really do invest and think a lot how to retain. So these employer programs to actually provide discounts, for shopping, for their, I was going to say startups, I'm brainwashed, for their employees, actually is very essential retention tool. So two things, payment flows and talent retention.
I was thinking before you started managing Visa here in the region, you were an executive director for a large Bulgarian bank. So you could help Stoic perhaps with an advice. How should he approach corporations so that he can sell his product better? What would you advise him to say to them?
First of all, I think that the corporations, if it's a real corporation with, caring for their human capital and human resource, they shouldn't need convincing. What would be interesting for them is how you facilitate the process, you ease, and you make it frictionless, because we're all short of time and resources. Absolutely. So he's working on that already. That's why he's part of the Visa Innovation Program. He is also collaborating with Iris. I know they've done some very interesting use cases. So that's what he needs to, kind of put at the forefront.
Perfect, perfect. Ozan, would you like to add something?
I'll just echo Sevi. Payments is not only happening at the stores or payment points. Payments is everywhere.
Let's move on then to our next startup. That's Boleron. It's a company that has a very straightforward product, and you will see a very straightforward founder. So I give you Alex.
Hi everyone, I am Alex, founder and CEO of Boleron. Boleron is the first digital insurance broker in Bulgaria. We have full portfolio of insurance products like ski insurance, home insurance, health, travel, and car insurance. And you can buy all of them online in less than 2 minutes from boleron.com or our mobile application. Yes, we have a mobile application. 10 years after we start using banking mobile applications, Boleron created a mobile insurance solution. We need a mobile application because our target customers are active people who travel abroad, have families, cars, properties, and they need to manage all their family insurances at one place. It is 100% digital, and you can get insurance 24/7 during Saturdays, Sundays, holidays, just like an airplane ticket. Next year, when it is time to renew your car or home insurance, you can do it with just one click without having to enter the data again and again. The mobile app is sending you a notification with a message that it is time to renew the contract, and you just have to click OK to renew it, fast and easy as possible. In Boleron, you can get different offers for your car insurance in just 3 clicks in few seconds with our image recognition technology without entering any data. We are very proud with our team as we have a great mix of talent with experts in software, insurance, and regulations, and we are definitely leading the digitalization of the insurance industry in Bulgaria. Boleron is saving a lot of paper every day, between 50 and 100 pages per contract. Boleron is saving to our customers a lot of time as well, as you can buy all kinds of insurances at any time from your home for just few minutes. And with Boleron, you can save a lot of money. If you pay by a Visa card, you will get 20% cash back from our strategic partner Visa. You can start right away on boleron.com.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Alex. That was a cool pitch. So, Ozan, I wanted to ask you, insurance, we think about it as a commodity very often, and now with the digitalization, it's suddenly hip again. Why did Visa choose Boleron as part of your program, and what's your take on InsurTech, how it's going to evolve in the future?
Insurance has been commodity so far, yes, you're right, but the reason behind it is that it hasn't been hit by innovation as early as the banking industry. Indeed, the products are traditional, but the way they are sold is now being redefined, and these marketplaces are quite important in the growth of the insurance industry. I think it is going to be having its first of all, it's going to be having its transformation as a digital sales platform, but indeed another open banking will happen as open insurance in near future. So with especially with the blockchain technology, I believe we will see a bigger transformation in near future, and the marketplaces will be the first step for this transformation.
Thank you. Sevi, would you like to add something?
Actually, I'm going to build on what Ozan just said. Insurance has been one of these traditional sectors that were a bit late into digital transformation. But nowadays, we speak about new consumer expectations. And this is an excellent example, Boleron actually, of providing these, actually answering these needs and new expectations with, for example, credential on file, or the other more useful name is card on file, where actually the payment is happening completely seamlessly and frictionless, which is something that we're really trying to equip a lot of merchants with, so that they can answer their consumers. And yes, I very much like what Ozan said about the open insurance is the next and the open banking. So I'm sure that these guys have a great future.
Absolutely, and Boleron is currently running a big marketing program with you guys about the card on file. So we are seeing some good numbers there. Let's see how
Very happy to hear so.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's move now to Payhawk. Payhawk will be presented by Raquel. So let's hear from Raquel.
Hello, finance managers. We know you're busy managing your finance teams, and a big part of that is dealing with expense management and gathering receipts. Do you know we even have a definition for it? It's expense management. The cost you pay to pay. At Payhawk, we think that expense management shouldn't exist at all. It's just a byproduct of very poor banking experience. Do you know why it really exists? Because banks have only been focused on distributing company cards. And once you swipe it, their job is done. But now the struggle begins for every employee and every business. Was I allowed to spend that money in the first place? Who's going to extract the data of the invoice? What do I do with the receipt? Who should I give it to? You paid €2 for a coffee, and it costs you 10 times more billing for it. That's an expensive coffee, don't you think? And that's not the whole story. Growing businesses face a lot of challenges. Subcontractors, frequent travelers, remote employees, petty cash, and now all of those requests that they want to furnish their home office. Do you think businesses need another bank to solve that? They need a solution that plays alongside their banks, where funds are secured and available. Meet Payhawk, the next generation spend platform. With Payhawk, you can transfer funds from your existing bank account with one click and enter the world of managing company cards at scale like a pro. How? First, every company card issued by Payhawk has built-in spend policies so that employees don't have to read lengthy manuals. Second, finance managers have real-time control and strict budget monitoring. Third, it automates expenses and reconciliation so that you and your team can forget about expense reports for life. Finally, if you worry about compliance, each expense uploaded to Payhawk is safely stored in a tax-compliant digital archive, so you can go totally paperless. Join us at payhawk.com, where businesses across 16 European countries already automate their expenses.
Excellent, thank you, Raquel. Actually, if I were a bank executive, I would immediately talk to Payhawk and try to have a contract with them selling their solution to my customers. I don't know about you. So Daniel, I know that 11 Ventures invested in Payhawk, right? So what makes them an investable case?
First and foremost, it's an incredible team. It's a very good combination of business and tech skill set. They have great experience in building software, because at the end of the day, this solution is based on a very good software, and they know how to scale this business. And this is a team that constantly proves that they could overcome any challenge. And it's amazing to support such entrepreneurs. And the last thing that I should say is that they have incredible conviction that they will be number one in this segment.
It's true, actually. Sevi, what's your take on Payhawk? It's our flagship startup from season 1.
Indeed, and they deserve to be a flagship. I mean, first of all, we are all very fond of Payhawk at Visa side. They have a remarkable solution. It's exemplary of how we linked a software solution and we've put it on the card rails. So perfect combination. And I mean, it's self-explanatory what they do. It's so much needed. And I hope that not only companies that they serve directly, but also really a lot of banks will kind of liaise with them and actually put their solution at the back end of their actually business cards.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they have a bright future, and good luck to Payhawk.
Yes, absolutely. Good luck to Payhawk. Now we have our next startup. That's PayByFace. Remember, I promised you some interesting things in the beginning, so that's it. Let's see from Mike.
How many of you decided to go to the beach this summer? Well, if you decided to go out and enjoy the sun, you probably remember how difficult it is to carry your phone and your cash and your wallet while you're playing in the sand. Hiding your stuff under a towel so nobody steals it, worrying if you dropped your cash in the sand, or if you're like me and your wife doesn't have pockets in her swimsuit, you end up carrying all her stuff too, and instead of relaxing, you turn into a walking warehouse of phones, cards, and cash in your pockets. Hi, I'm Mike Dragici, founder and CEO of PayByFace, where your face becomes a virtual card. Using PayByFace, all those worries of how to pay disappear. For example, when you finish swimming in the pool, you can just go straight to the bar and pay for your drink by simply having your face scanned. No cash, no phone, no cards, just your beautiful tan face. We have launched 18 iPads in Romania at coffee shops, pharmacies, salons, you name it. We are planning to have 100 locations up and running by the end of this year. We have signed a partnership with Up Romania to onboard 750,000 cardholder members on corporate prepaid meal cards. We're also running a pilot project with Raiffeisen Bank Bulgaria and Bank ABC in the Middle East. We have bootstrapped everything so far the past 3 years, with very strategic funding to date of approximately 100,000 euros from 2 angel investors, the Startup Bootcamp Accelerator, and as a Raiffeisen Factory contest winner in Romania this year. Our plans are to expand the market in Bucharest to prove our scalability and see if consumers will take PayByFace viral. We are preparing for our seed round and would love to talk to you and discuss additional important topics like privacy and security, go-to-market strategy, and our financial models with your team. So next time you need to go buy alcohol for the beach party, you can just pay with your face. Join us at PayByFace, and let's take payments beyond the transaction.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. It's funny watching you naked, actually, after we have worked for so long. So, Uzan, there are many types of biometric payments out there that are now available. Why is Visa betting on face recognition for the future of payments and on PayByFace?
We're believing in all sorts of ways to pay, and the main idea behind the innovation program was innovating in payments and providing consumers with new ways to pay. And biometrics is an important is going to be an important way to pay in very near future. It's coming up. We're seeing pilots like PayByFace, and I think overall the customer experience of PayByFace is also quite a good exemplary of biometrics is possible and secure and safe. So I think the answer is pretty simple. It's easy to pay by your face. That's why we're believing in biometrics, and all sorts of biometrics will be in our agenda in the next 3 to 5 years.
Would you like to add something, Daniel?
No, I think I totally concur with what Ozan said about the future of biometrics in payments and in any other field. And I think that this, to a great extent, would lower the transaction cost of smaller merchants and would make commerce and retail much easier for everybody.
Absolutely. Sevi.
And funnier.
And funnier, yes. You can check out it as Batman or as Superman or as anything you like.
I have to say that I love the video, and admirations to the guys. Very creative, especially at the verge of the winter, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. True.
So I just wanted to say, it's actually now the time to say great thanks to Raiffeisen Bank Bulgaria. They have been very engaged as a client to the program, and a lot of other banks as well, but they're really brave. Absolutely. And I really admire that. And yeah. So great example of the collaboration through proof of concept, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And also just to add, this is also a very good example of the model that we have built together for the innovation program, because usually such a pilot might take easily 12 months to actually launch. And the format that we have, the design sprint that we have organized in this particular case, and all the infrastructure that we've built actually makes possible that we limit this time from 12 months to 2 months. And this is incredibly valuable both for the startups and actually to prove their technology with the client, and actually for the client to in a very fast manner to actually try new concepts and see whether something works, to see what are the KPIs, the metrics, and if everything works, then to go to a commercial implementation, which is fantastic for everybody.
Absolutely. The main way of outsourcing innovation through startups is a great value for companies, because it saves them time, it saves them money, and it gives them access to technology they would otherwise not be able to produce themselves inside. All right, so the first 5 startups are done. I'm very happy with what we have seen so far. Let's now move on to a little bit of a different format. We have Roy Ben Daniel, who is heading Visa's digital partnerships and ventures for Europe, and who will be moderating our Fireside Chat. So, Shalom, Roy. I hope that you hear us. Welcome, and thank you very much for leading this Fireside Chat. They are not here, so I have to keep talking. That's good news. It's a very funny way of leading a demo day. I have to say that I completely prefer when I have live audience because I feel like a complete jerk here. And also, if we are on the Muppet Show, as we were laughing that we are, now it's time for you guys to tell a joke that no one is going to understand. Okay, so what can we also tell you until we get the guys on the line? Building on what Sevi said, we see that in the second season of the program, actually more of the banks are becoming braver.
Yes.
More of the banks are actually trying to engage with the startups, not just in having a meeting with them, but actually engaging more people from their banks, trying to see if there are use cases that they can pilot. And the most interesting thing that we see is that, again, it's all about the people. So if there is a champion in the bank, if there is someone who really believes in this innovation, then it happens.
If I may just to add, I mean, other observations which are very interesting is that it takes time for people to realize that this is real. So it's not one of the many initiatives that there's so much noise and no delivery, but actually this is a program, an initiative that really delivers results to them. So it took one season for people to kind of believe that this is, to see with their own eyes that this works. And I do remember when we had one workshop, it's very interesting to share this for everybody, is that we had a workshop with the executives from the banks, and we invited one company to share their experience with how things happen in Europe and US, and sharing similar things to what we do here in the region. And one of the executives said, yeah, this is true, but this always happens in Western Europe or in the US. And then another colleague of her from another bank says, that's not true, because we had an issue, a technology issue that we struggled for 1-2 years, and we couldn't resolve it with our top suppliers. And actually, because of the program, we managed to engage with a local company, and because of their superior technology, we managed to resolve it within 3 weeks. So this is just an example that actually, if you engage with the local ecosystem, which is one of the top tech ecosystems in Europe, there is an incredible talent here. There is a technology being built here that actually serves multinationals all across the globe for years now. So all the corporations, all the banks, they could have a really competitive edge and launch new products just engaging with tech companies that are next door. And this is a great example of how this could be done.
True story.
Yeah. And the other thing is about working with startups, just to add, and I think this is the role of Visa is truly essential, is the trust and the reputation that you put forward. Because these are two different worlds. The startups and the corporation, the banks, these are two different worlds. So there should be somebody who could say, listen guys, you could trust this party, you could trust this party. And this is really the fundamental for actually starting the conversation. And I see the difference. I mean, when if a company is having a conversation outside of a program, and if the company is having the conversation, if it's part of the program, and it's totally different, because you have the seal of, okay, you're working with Visa, and it's in a way trusted party. So it's something really very important, and I'm really very thankful for actually taking this step in moving in this direction. So all these ingredients, I think, are very, very helpful for actually bringing innovation to life, because there is a huge difference between all the articles that people read, how innovation happens, and how actually you implement innovation.
How you do it.
How you do it. And there are very few, very few examples of how this actually happens. So the Visa Innovation Program is just one of these real examples around us where things are happening. There are so many pilots and commercial opportunities for both the startups and the banks. And the most interesting thing when we discussed when we started is that actually here in that region, the USP is actually that there is a superior technology being built. And this technology trumps sales all the time when actually technology is 10 times better than anything else. And actually all of us could take advantage of that.
Absolutely. And Visa gives them market access because trumping sales with technology is not always
no, but this
the
is
best way to go.
But this is a good...
It's a process and it's natural evolution, and I think that
Absolutely.
the environment is also supporting this. And as Dani said, you first see it, you try it, you believe it, and then you actually understand really the benefits. And I'm very happy that all of our companies, there's not a single company from the 2 seasons actually that hasn't made any progress.
Oh, yeah,
all of them, all of them. So, and the more we go, the more proof of concepts we will have actually.
True. Okay, let's move on to eCollect and hear from them. Let's hear from Mark, and then we will move to Fireside Chat when we have our technical difficulties solved. So Mark, let's see how you do what you do.
Hello, my name is Mark. I'm CEO and co-founder of eCollect, Europe's leading receivables management platform. Spending 15 years in this industry and being an executive board member for the second largest collection company, I truly know this industry inside out. You won't believe it, but traditional collection companies still work with methods from the past and software from the 90s. So I decided to foster innovation at eCollect. We are currently operating out of 3 countries, Germany, Switzerland, and Bulgaria, to serve our international clients across Europe. More countries to be onboarded soon. The platform covers the whole receivables management process, from invoice creation, overdunning, and pre-legal collection to legal collection, all on one platform, all across border. Our client family consists of 2,800 companies, some of which are international industry leaders. People think of debt collectors as shady guys, because they are hired to take money from people, but we do it differently. Let me tell you why fintechs are the good guys out there. We won't spam your client's mailbox or harass them over the phone. Instead, our machine learning and AI platform allow highly personalized messages even without human interaction on our side. We support corporations and organizational institutions focus on what they do best, while we take care of their cash management process. How we do it? Pretty simple. Let's say your customer misses a payment. The claim is automatically transmitted to our system via full API integration. Once the files are transmitted, the software automatically verifies and enriches the data of the end user. AI-driven data points will then tailor the message to the customer, and he will receive a pay link to a pay page with the exact amount he owes. Besides call options, the platform uses alternative communication channels such as email, SMS, Viber, and WhatsApp, and even stylistically adjust the message to build up trust and understanding. And to make it even more convenient, we also offer installment plans. Choose the right time to contact your clients according to their life situation and help them find the best solution. The cherry on top is that we operate cross-border in multiple languages and offer several payment methods. Google Pay, Apple Pay, Visa, you name it. As our client, you will have full transparency of the process thanks to our online portal and easy-to-understand UX dashboards. We collect your money while we improve your client's customer journey. Isn't that awesome? To wrap it up, on the one hand, we help corporations to gain financial stability. On the other hand, we help consumers to pay at their own pace and convenience. Think of us as a financial diplomat who helps business and consumers be happy.
Thank you, Mark. It was funny. Mark he's a very tenacious guy. He took 28 takes of just one sentence. Isn't that amazing? I think I will have this sentence in my mind for I don't know for
That's
how
what
long.
perseverance is all about.
Yes, absolutely. That's perseverance. Startup perseverance. Uzan, I wanted to ask you actually, how do you see this space developing? It seems to me that it can be a huge catalyst for international trade for merchants and cross-border payments and activities.
Personally have experience on the collections space indeed, and I know how it's being run. It's quite brick and mortar. It's quite human effort dependent and quite inefficient as it has to be now, because there is no innovation in this space, and yet innovation all alone is not going to be depending on technology in that space. eCollect is a very good example of this. They're putting in human and interaction intelligence into the process, and managing the collection process technology based. I mean, via technology based solution, but also considering the life cycles of the payers. So it's a let me say in a nutshell, it's a very virgin space, and I think this product is exciting me in terms of what's coming in that space.
Excellent, thank you. I think we now have the technology ready to hear from our Fireside Chat. So I want to introduce Roy Ben-Daniel, who is, as I said, heading Visa's Digital Partnerships and Ventures Unit for Europe. Shalom, Roy. Yes, I can see you. That's great.
Welcome everyone to the panel about growing the company in Europe. It's my first time hosting a panel in such a manner, so please bear with me. I can tell you it's pretty strange not seeing the faces in the audience. Everything in life is an adventure. So in any case, let's get right to it. With us is Dogan Turan, founder of GlocalZone, Victor Trokudes, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, founder of Plum, and myself, Roy Ben-Daniel, Digital Partnerships and Ventures at Visa, based in Tel Aviv. So to set things up, Victor, Dogan, can you give us a quick overview of your companies, please?
Okay, I can start. I'm Doğan, co-founder of GlocalZone. GlocalZone is a peer-to-peer marketplace that you can buy any product from abroad via travelers. And we give a chance to earn money while you are traveling with getting products from abroad for shoppers.
Yeah, hi. Plum, we're basically an automated assistant for your money, which basically means you connect your bank account to Plum, and three things happen. The first thing is that we start, based on the transactions that we see, we start automatically saving money for you via an algorithm that we've built. So you start accumulating savings. Then we make sure that any bills that you're paying, utility bills, energy bills, your internet, loans, you're paying the lowest possible cost, right? And if you're not, we recommend you providers that you can reduce it. And then finally, we're allowed to invest your money to grow it through various funds that we offer to you at a very low cost, so you can keep growing your money. So fundamentally, I guess what we're trying to do is get people 10% better off day one, and basically 120% better off over their lifetime.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so to the subject of growing your company in Europe, let's talk about Europe. How do you think that setting up and growing a startup in Europe differs from other markets? What's unique or advantageous in the Europe market conditions?
Well, yeah, I'll say something. But I think, I mean, we're a UK-based only company right now. We're about to launch. Well, we have a few test users in Europe, and we're about to launch in Europe this year. I guess for a financial technology company like us that's based in the UK, clearly this whole Brexit thing is creating a lot of issues, right? In terms of like understanding. Well, basically, one is that you need to create another entity in that region. Then it needs to get regulated. Then it needs to be passported across Europe. But hopefully, you have access to the whole market once you do that, right? I guess it's a large market. You have to deal with like localization, right, of each market, not only in terms of language, but in terms of like habits and what people care about. So it's quite a bit of I think work to get it right in all the countries because there are differences beyond language. But yeah, I mean, I guess we're in that process to do it. Brexit makes it even more challenging, given where we are right now.
Thanks,
For
Victor.
global side, the economic and political structure of Europe is very advantageous for us because European people has unique tastes, desires, and they was really traveling a lot just before the COVID-19, and we are waiting they will travel again after COVID-19. But usually they will be able to easily access the products they buy during their travel with us. And so, and as Victor mentioned, we didn't open our business in Europe. We are an Estonian-based company. This is our first start for going to Europe for Global Zone business model.
Right. On the same topic of Europe and building a company in Europe, do you think there's on founders and startups, is there a Euro fintech DNA? Is there a difference between fintechs based in Europe and other regions? Victor?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, I think. I mean, we're in London. I think there's. I mean, comparing to Europe, I think there's. I think Europe is like. I think like I would say like catching up to London. I think there's like some great companies that have led fintech in London. So I think it's a very good starting point for a lot of companies. It tends to be London, and then they expand to Europe. But you do see some strong local players coming out in Europe. But I guess I can't think of names right now dramatically, but like a lot of I think the players, they'll start in a local market and they don't expand, I think, as rapidly as you'd hope and expect, right? Like if I guess N26 is an example that Revolut is another example that has from the UK. Otherwise, but I think if you're a UK company and you go to Europe, you're typically going to the whole of Europe, right? If you're a consumer proposition, it's much more likely that if you decide you're doing the Euro play, you're going to do the whole of it. Whereas I think European players maybe have more of a tendency to go market by market because yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean that point is pretty interesting because I think Americans view Europe as one market, but it's one can argue it's not one market; it's many markets with different languages, cultures, consumer behaviors, regulation environments. How does that affect your growing efforts? Maybe Dogan, you can take this one.
Okay, we were placed our app as a travel or e-commerce app in one or two different countries. But however, we realized that we can run Global Zone in different regions. And this idea brought us different dimensions. This is hard to open in our business in Europe because there are lots of different cultures, languages, habits. But I'm sure after COVID, we will be business as frequently paid customers in different European countries. But the first step will be Bulgaria because, as I mentioned, there are lots of languages, different habits. We need to go by one by.
Right. Okay. So let's move forward with touching on the subject of actually growing your company, going from a startup to growth mode. As founders who are acting as CEOs of your companies, what was the most important mental change that you needed to do to transition from setup mode to growth mode, if you like?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I think for us, I mean, I guess we're still like early in a potential journey. Like, yeah, setup mode was probably 3 years ago. I think a lot of it has to do with people and how you interact with the team, right? At first you're 3 people, then you're 10 people. I guess we were 30 people up until early this year, which was like felt like we had direct connections with everyone, but then it's 65 people now that we are. Going to 100 by mid next year. I guess it kind of, even though I've seen it before in a funny way, like at my previous company TransferWise, you really need to make sure that you're very clear about what you want to achieve and as a business, and make sure that everyone's like kind of bought into that, right? So I think it becomes a lot more of a kind of execution game, but you also need lots of people on that are basically knowing exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it, right? I think is very important, because you can't be giving constant in a way feedback, right? So I think the growth mode is really about being clear and taking maybe a longer term view on how you do things, and ensuring that is is being executed and people really understand why you're doing things.
Okay, so I'm hearing organizational culture and structure. Dogan, what do you understand now that you haven't started this journey? I mean, I assume, I don't see the faces, but I assume there's founders in the audience. What free lesson can you give them that was maybe costly for you or took you time to learn?
Really, actually, it felt like everything would go smoothly and easy in the first days, on the team side and investor side, the social life side. But I can see that this is like a complex game that you should play all of these items at the same time. I think the social life is the most important thing you need to balance with your business life, and you need to spend much more time with your team, and you need to be, actually the balance is the key word for this journey. I didn't know that it will be hard at the first stage, but it's really important for growing your business.
All right, so emphasis on founder well-being and balancing life-work balance. Victor, any free lessons for people starting their company in the audience?
Well, for starting a company, it's different. I think I agree with the balance comment that's been made. It's funny, I was watching this Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, and the guy brings Miyagi's old concept of balance, and it was something that resonated with me. But no, I mean, I think if you're thinking of starting something, it depends on different characters, but like you can't predict how everything's going to go, right? So you can't have the perfect plan. So if you really want to do something and you believe in what you're doing, my advice is always kind of go for it, because the ability to plan and think of every move is impossible. And I think there's a lot of value of, like, in a way, being in the game rather than not being in the game, right? Because when you're in the game, there's like opportunities that come and you can take advantage of them. Whereas if you're not in the game, you can't. So if you really want to do it, and if it's for you, you go for it,
Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about, we can't avoid the topic of the day, COVID. So let's talk about a wider issue, uncertainty, and the talk about COVID within that as well.
There is a saying: there are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. And I feel like COVID has exponentially showed us that. Startup is the realm of uncertainty. Add COVID to that, and we're really in a vortex of uncertainty. What are your guys' approach to planning ahead in today's environment when there's so much uncertainty? How has strategic planning in your companies changed?
In our side, as you know, every sector has been affected, but those who work in the travel industry, related startups like us, extremely affected. Since the day COVID started, our first goal was to survive and overcome this process in the most undamaged way. And our plan is to stay alive and look after the COVID-19 opportunities in different markets. This is a way that we act.
Yeah.
Victor?
I mean, yeah, we were, I guess, a bit luckier, right? Not by design at all, right? We can't take credit for it, but like because we're a savings product that helps you manage your money better, it was like it was something that appealed to people during COVID, right? Not to say there weren't challenges, because clearly, if you don't know if you're going to have a salary, you're not starting to think about savings, right? So there are 100% challenges. But I guess we see this mental shift of people needing to be more on top of their finances. So like in our case, we're trying to like double down in the efforts we're doing in this period because we think it's a product that the current environment allows people to realize it's greater value for the long run. So, but it's hard. It's challenging to plan, like especially the people thing. We have an office in Athens. We have an office here in London. People meeting each other. We have some people like are in Estonia actually, and etc. So it's hard to coordinate meeting people. So there's a lot of like kind of the people thing. I think is harder to plan for.
So in that sense, are you planning for shorter spans? Are you forsaking 1 year out and focusing on the next quarter because there's so much uncertainty?
We did that in the as soon as it hit, right? As soon as it hit, like clearly we went to a mode where we were having like a daily meeting every morning, trying to making sure that we were reacting from a product development to anything that changed, right? So we called it the war room, and we did that for the first. We still kind of maintained it at least at a pace, but that's what we adjusted. So the result of that is that we built features around further budgeting and making people be more aware of their future expenses. So that was like kind of our product reaction to COVID. But I think for us, it hasn't really changed the plan, to be honest, because we're trying to help people with their money, and so we're almost trying to accelerate that our product development so that we can help more people faster. So that's how I would think about it.
So Dugan, on the same topic, I mean, you're heavily based on people physically traveling from point A to B. How is the current travel market condition affected your product, or have you in a sense changed your offering to people, to consumers?
Actually, we are offering the same business for our consumers. It's highly affected, as you know. People didn't travel in the May, April, and March, but now something's going well in our markets. People started to traveling again, and the shoppers started to order products from abroad. Basically, before the COVID-19, you were just go and buy stuff in the different regions in your business trips or in your vacations. But now you cannot do it easy as before COVID-19. So you need to wait to reach new items in the other countries. And with the opening the travels again, our consumers to spending money in local zone with the travelers.
Come to think of it, you're also basically offering a secondary source of income to people. Do you feel that now that people are really affected with the economy, is there more desire to find alternative sources of income?
Sorry, I didn't hear again. Can you please repeat again?
Yes, yes. So I was asking, we think now with the economy in a pretty bad shape, people are seeking more alternative ways to create more source of income, which is basically a pretty big part of your business.
Yeah. As mentioned, we are opening the way that can create a new income model for travelers. They can earn around $300 for each travel, and I know it's hard to spending money in their travels, but they know if they can earn much more money if they spend their money. So we gave the chance to earning while they are traveling. It's hard, but they are doing that because they will earn extra cash.
Alrighty. So I think we have a couple of more minutes to wrap up. So there are people in the crowd that I'm sure can help you, business executives, investors. I'm giving you the stage for your call to action. How can people in the audience help you? Victor, maybe you can start.
No, I guess for us, spread the word that Plum is launching in Europe would be one. I guess we're moving into these new markets: France, Spain, Italy, Germany, and Ireland. Interested in people that have any local nuggets of information that might be useful as we grow there.
Alrighty, thanks. Rogan?
We are launching our product in Europe, and our first target is Bulgaria. And we are looking for people. There are lots of people in Glocal Zone requesting products and traveling worldwide, and we are open to partnership with all business that deal with both audiences. And we also would like to meet all investors interested in C2C marketplaces model. And we are planning to go our next round in next summer.
Alrighty, guys, it's been a pleasure. I think our time is up. I want to thank you again for making the time to take part in this panel.
Thank you, Roy, Dogan, and Victor, for sharing your insights with us. All right, so we have 4 more startups to see for our demo day. We have talked about open banking, payments, facial recognition, biometrics. Now let's turn ourselves to how does this happen internally in the banks? What are the support systems? Let's hear it from Kalina from LogSentinel, to see how LogSentinel is using blockchain actually to secure all these data that we are using for our services. The floor is yours, Kalina.
While you're watching this video, more than 28,000 records will be stolen. Hackers attack every 39 seconds. One successful attack happened at a large financial institution. That breach was not discovered until 6 months later. A lengthy investigation revealed it was one of the 2 information security officers on shift that day. But it was impossible to prove who exactly did it because they deleted the logs of their attack. As there were no evidence, no one was prosecuted, both were fired, but the worst part was that any new hire could do this all over again and remain undetected. They wanted to put a stop on this and hired LogSentinel. These risks are now a thing of the past. Unlike anyone else on the market, we make it impossible for intruders to cover their tracks. We guarantee the integrity of data assets by utilizing the cryptographic building blocks of blockchain. LogSentinel SIEM's immutable audit trail gives them indisputable digital evidence that can be presented in front of the regulator or even in court. And that's just one of the features LogSentinel gives them and can give to you. The average enterprise has 75 different security tools and yet is still losing the battle with cybercriminals. Are you? Instead of having to deploy and manage dozens of point security tools, now all you need to stay safe and be compliant is LogSentinel next generation security information and event management solution. Log management, behavior analytics, advanced AI-driven threat detection, and incident response into a complete security monitoring platform. We help you find the unfindable and completely eliminate your blind spots by giving you full control over your data in a unified command center for real-time control and insight across local, cloud, and legacy systems, on-prem or cloud infrastructure. With proven rapid time to value, we help you reduce time and cost of detection and investigation, as well as audit and reporting. And that's without even mentioning the cost of nearly $3 million related to a potential security incident. And I know, all that sounds great, but SIEMs are notorious for being extremely difficult to integrate and for becoming prohibitively expensive very quickly. But that's the past. Today, you can get LogSentinel Next-Gen SIEM running easily in days with our zero setup cloud SIEM and open source collector that can handle any system and any setup, even in the most complex organizations. And all that comes at a sensible flat pricing per data source. Our clients over the years have seen and enjoyed these benefits. The reality is that more than 40% of companies that suffer a major data breach go bankrupt. And the chance of you getting breached in the next 24 months is as much as 30%. Don't accept these risks. LogSentinel is here to help you avoid this by leveraging the most advanced technologies. You don't have to be afraid.
Excellent, thank you. I am not sure if I'm afraid for my data or not now, but at least the good thing is that we have LogSentinel taking care of it. Daniel, I wanted to ask you, it's a very crowded space out there where LogSentinel is tackling, and there are a lot of large companies, really large companies, playing in this play field. So how do you think that LogSentinel is going to make it happen there?
Yeah, it's a crowded space on one hand, but on the other hand, we have a team who is building a superb technology, and this is the major competitive advantage they have. Of course, it's not that easy to get through all the noise and to get to the big customers. And when you're a newcomer and say, okay, I have this great technology and it solves your problems much better than anybody else. But we see the first signs where actually when people see it and they start working, they're extremely happy with the technology and they realize what risks they have they were exposed to before using LogSentinel. So it's just an example of superb technology being built in that region, and actually Visa and the whole program brings this trust that actually opens the doors to the big customers.
Absolutely, that's true. All right, let's move to another security startup that we have. That's Notolytix. They are also playing in the security domain and in the compliance area. So let's hear it from Christian.
Noto is an enterprise-grade solution designed to address all financial crime threats. Noto is a data-agnostic and a uniquely flexible solution that empowers its users to efficiently combat fraud and money laundering across any vertical or industry. Omnichannel fraud and account takeover prevention or transactional AML tap into the same data pool, user profiles, and transactional records. Noto enables its users to interpret their data for different financial crime mitigation applications. Noto eliminates the need for multiple solutions and integrations. Our diverse client portfolio confirms the flexibility of Noto. From fintech to banking, payment processing, or e-commerce and online gaming, Noto is used to tackle fraud and AML in various verticals and regions. Our platform screens billions of transactions per year, providing double-digit millisecond response times for 1,000 transactions per second. Noto is a turnkey platform that offers its features via a single integration that remains the same for SaaS and on-premises deployments. All features within Noto are fully user customizable. Noto connects to industry-leading third-party solutions that provide advanced identity and device profiling services. All third-party integrations are available out of the box and require zero tech effort. Our customers tackle various use cases and improve their detection and prevention capabilities when it comes to fraud or money laundering while achieving surpassed return on investment. If you want to find out more about Noto and how we can help your organizations mitigate all financial crime threats, don't hesitate to get in touch.
Thank you very much, Christian. Ozana, I wanted to ask you actually the AML and the KYC and all the compliance issues, they are getting more and more important for banks as well as for you guys at Visa. How do you see this space developing, and why did you guys choose Notolytix in the program? What do you see as their biggest advantage?
This part of the world, payment world, is kind of remaining behind the scenes, but it is lying at the heartbeat of the payments, and I should say, cyber security and preventive solutions are playing a very essential role in convincing consumers more and more to use new ways to pay, indeed. So KYC and AML are not only important for banks and fintechs to reduce the collateral damage, but also important for them to build up the consumer preference and consumer trust. So it's not a product sold to consumers, but it is definitely an area that should be told better to consumers, and more and more preventive solutions depending on AI will be we will be seeing more of these type of solutions, and banks playing onto these solutions and fintechs playing onto these type of solutions and promoting it as a product future.
Great. Sevi, I was thinking banks have a lot of legacy systems in-house. So what advice would you give to Notolytix who have, when they are selling, in their process of selling their product, they have to overcome this fear of changing something that maybe doesn't work very well, but we still know it, with something very different?
What can I say? Yes, banks have a lot of legacy systems, and I think that this is not an easy sell. So both for LogSentinel and for
exactly.
The sales cycle with the banks, exactly because they think that they already have a lot of things, which may not necessarily be true that it's the best of the best. So that's a long sales cycle, and it really. But we have partners already to these two companies. So we had, I would say, the early adopters on the side of the clients. And I wouldn't only say banks, because we also have non-banking financial institutions, which are also in the financial services. And these are actually gaining momentum and complementing, banks in the area of financial service provision. So they just need to open their minds. The banks and the non-banking financial institutions. I think it's easier to sell to the non-banking financial institutions because they are younger organizations and more, forward-looking and out of the box. I don't want to, of course, offend any of the banks, but we do have a bank partner to LogSentinel and also a pilot with Noto. So I like to think that this will accelerate in the future because these guys, Noto and LogSentinel, they have amazing technology, amazing expertise. They're leading industry experts. So, and instead of paying hundreds of thousands of euros for systems, as you said, the large companies and the big players, actually you can test with these guys and it could be much more agile and cost efficient with the same, if not even better impact.
Absolutely.
So it demands a kind of a change of mentality.
And I'm happy to say that actually the program that we are running is helping for this change of mentality, which is the first step in making all this sales process easier. All right, great. Let's hear now from the last but one startup that we have left. It's a startup that does alternative payment methods based on buy now and pay later. So that's Newpay. Let's hear from Vladi.
Many people use shopping for a therapy. Everyone knows that buying something new makes a person feel happy and excited. But can you imagine that the desire for something new can also bring negative emotions? This happened to my niece, a 22-year-old student, while she was trying to buy a pair of brand new promotional shoes from an online shop. Eventually, she couldn't do this, which made her feel unhappy, almost depressed. She hesitated to buy the shoes right away because she preferred to have the options to see and try them on before paying. Furthermore, there were 2 more weeks until her next salary and urgent expenses that should be covered. Buying these shoes would definitely exceed her budget.
Then I wondered what would happen if she has visited the nearby shop instead of that online merchant.
Maybe she would have had time to try them on and pick the shoes regardless of whether she had a card and money. And even better, to pay in several days or even months, because the shop owner actually was her neighbor.
Now let's have a little talk about Newpay. In a world dominated by online commerce, Newpay makes your online shopping experience feels like you are in shop next to you. We allow customers to shop online, regardless of having credit cards or money, and to pay only for what they really want. We are the first entirely online buy now, pay later business model in Bulgaria.
Newpay is for all shopping enthusiasts eager to touch and feel the product before paying. They can try before buy. For all budget-conscious people striving for better budget management, they can pay in up to 15 days or in 3 and 6 monthly installments. For all online security-sensitive people not willing to use credit cards for shopping, or just for all cash-strapped consumers, credit limit can be utilized anytime at any shop integrated with Newpay. Newpay is also for all online merchants willing to offer a variety of payment methods on their platforms to improve conversion rates, sales volumes, and purchase frequency, to focus on retention rates or new customers, to facilitate cash flow management, or just to take advantage of additional advertising and sales channel. Visit our partners' online shops or Newpay BG, select Newpay button, register, and start shopping. Newpay have just trusted you. Enjoy the freedom to buy now and pay later.
Excellent, Vladi, thank you. I admire the confidence with which you were carrying the box with the label woman in front of you. That was really cool. I didn't see it before. All right, Sevi, how does Newpay fit in the whole array of payments of Visa?
Certainly, yes. Certainly, it will facilitate the women shopping maniacs more. And yes, I like to be in Visa. So women in shoes, amazing. And, yeah. So now, on the serious side, the installments are a huge, huge new wave. And especially nowadays, at COVID and post-COVID, I think that we will see even more installment programs coming. So Newpay have a really good proposition, especially for online stores, because we also see digital commerce uptaking like crazy speed. They're doubling. In a couple of months, they've just, the growth percentages of e-com payments have doubled. So I think they have the right proposition, they come at the right time, and I'm in general in favor of installments, because it facilitates, on the one hand, for the small and medium merchant stores, in a way, because that's their primary target. It facilitates the recovery of trade. And on the other hand, it allows you to manage your budget, because it comes at an installment and it's not a burden. And you know, we are in a delicate situation with the COVID environment. So I think but even if it's not COVID going forward, this is a basic kind of drive for affordability, which benefits all sides.
Absolutely. Ozan, Turkey is a relatively young nation, so you must have seen earlier than in our country and region here a boom in this niche. How do you see this growing in the future?
There are two factors indeed. Turkey has gone through a rigorous digitalization of banking services and introduction of installments along with strong loyalty programs in the early 2000s, in the 2001, 2002. And over the last 18 years, 19 years, installments has become an essential part of the Turkish payment industry. Indeed, it's been the engine behind the growth in card payments, because people prefer cards when they have a reason to use it, especially in I mean, I'm leaving aside Turkey being a credit market and being a young market, but also in markets where people or have habit to spend as much as they have. There is a reality that they cannot buy products that are extending beyond their savings. However, in the next several months, they would be able to save piece by piece, pay piece by piece. So it has two effects. One side is it grows the overall payments volume, so people are buying a bigger amount products and pay piece by piece. And secondly, people buy more frequently. So we have seen this impact on Turkish payments industry over the last 18, 19 years. I'm a big believer in markets like Bulgaria, Romania, where payments by cards is still lower, has still lower share in the PCE, overall PCE. Installments will play an important role in giving people a motive to use cards more and more and replace the cash. And I think Sevi would maybe touch more, but as Visa, we're investing in our markets to open up the installment space with our partners. So that's why we're valuing any solution that brings installments, that brings buy now, pay later motives a lot as Visa.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, let's move into a space that is close to this one. It's all about customer experience, and nowadays it's all about loyalty when, because of the crisis, we see a lot of small shops actually on the brink of survival. So let's hear from our last but not least at all startup, of course, that's Reloyalty. So bring us up to speed with how your world is developing, Ivo.
The world as we know it is changing. The Economist predicts that over 30% of small and medium businesses might go out of business because of the upcoming COVID recession. And these are the businesses we cherish and love the most, like the coffee shop, where we love to have our morning coffee, or the restaurant where we had this magical date, or this great bar where we spent some fantastic time with friends the other day, and all those amazing places where we love living our lives. Going digital is not a question anymore. Going digital is a necessity. At Reloyalty, we build a platform for local businesses to build more meaningful relationship with their customers whenever they pay with their bank cards. By leveraging open banking, we can turn the 400+
million bank cards in Europe into loyalty cards. So any bank card in your pocket becomes the connection between you and your favorite local brands. Simply download Reloyalty from the Google Play or the App Store and just connect the bank card of your choice to our application. Then you can find out your loyalty status in any of your favorite local businesses or any businesses you ever made a purchase. By maintaining your loyalty status, you get cash straight into your bank account, or you can even pay upfront and get future value of your transactions. The more loyal you are, the more rewarding the business will be. Together, we are building the most powerful software to help local businesses build better relationships with their customers. We transfer this transactional data into useful insights for local businesses. Businesses can understand how many customers they have at any given time, who are the most valuable customers, and who are the most loyal customer segments, and how their behavior is changing. What is the market share against competitors, so they can retain their customers over time. Our technology will suggest the right campaigns to businesses, so they keep their loyal customers and make new ones or lapsed ones come back, which creates predictability of revenue and more engaged customer base. We help physical businesses find out their retention curve, which wasn't possible until now. Reloyalty's mission is to empower local businesses to recognize the relationships with their customers so they can earn more revenue while their customers are happy and engaged. We are live in the UK market and available for customers of over 20 of the biggest UK banks. Thousands of customers are already using Reloyalty, where 80% of them connected a card, over 60% of them completed all our rewards, which is 3 times the industry average, and 50% of them invited a friend, which will allow us to grow exponentially. We are now preparing a huge campaign to introduce Reloyalty to the most loved UK brands and help them build much stronger relationship with their customers. These businesses are the heart of our economy, and Reloyalty is here to help them become more durable, survive any market conditions, and ultimately thrive.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you, Ivo. You always give me a lot of energy when I hear you speak or when I see you live. It's a pleasure. All right, Daniel, everyone talks about loyalty. What's the big deal here?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, loyalty is a major tool of retailers to engage with their customers. And for years, I mean, all different type of programs have not delivered the results that everybody hoped for, because companies didn't have the technology in order to go into granular type of methods in order to understand better the consumer behavior and actually to look at the consumer behavior not only in the context of what we sell to you, but rather in a larger context where they could see your entire behavior across many merchants and different services. So, and in doing that, you could actually you could deliver much better service to your customers, and this is real loyalty and this is real engagement. And I think that the product of Reloyalty and their other efforts in this space, they could deliver much better engagement and service for customers by utilizing all this big data from the merchants. So I think that it's a very good promise for the future.
Perfect, Sevi.
Yes, I just have something to complement Daniel. So up until now, we've seen loyalty programs either managed by the merchant, and typically it should be a big merchant, you know, to afford the software and, you know, the big database of customers. And the banks in a relationship with a set of merchants. So what Ivo is doing is, what I like about it, it's agnostic, so it's a platform and it utilizes big data. And so a lot of merchants can actually benefit from the program as well as a lot of consumers, notwithstanding which is their particular bank or which is their, you know, and they can link that to their preferred merchants in a very nice way. And I think this is the next step era in the loyalty programs that we're going to see. Plus, one thing in favor of loyalty, there have been recent studies now, and I'm linking to your opening point about COVID. So if you have a loyal base, even if you're a small corner store, you have better chances
Of
for
survival.
recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is true.
So merchants, and especially the small ones, but not on, they understood that a little bit in the first way now because of the pandemic, but I think there's a bright future. So good luck to Ivo. And I agree with you, his energy is overwhelming, so the world is going to be his.
Absolutely. All right, this was our last startup from the demo day. Uzan, would you like to say a couple of words in the end before we move to the closing keynote of Stoil from SumUp?
I'm just gonna say we have much more of these innovators to meet in near future. So keep coming to us, and we'll try to facilitate and enable everything for all of you to make sure that you are accessing the right network, right resources, right customer base. Just congrats to all the companies, and looking forward to promising future.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Uzan. Let's move on now to our next, the cherry on the top, with Stoil Vasilev, who is a VP of Business Development for SumUp, and he will talk to us about the future of payments. How does SumUp and Stoil see the future of payments in the next 10 years? So Stoil, if you can hear us and see us.
I can hear you. Thank you very much, Rene. I don't know if you can hear me though. So the fact that I'm going after Ivo makes me a little bit more calm, simply because what he just spoke about is something that I want to also mention in my presentation. And on top of that, I mean, all of the previous people, they had these videos that they pre-recorded while I am live. So I will try to be more concise, but still forgive me if I say something that I shouldn't be saying live. So first of all, I want to speak about the future of payments as part of the global fintech. And why do I say that? Well, I will tell you a little bit more about that later, but here, as you can see, I use Visa. Of course, I have templates where instead of Visa, we have MasterCard. But of course, I wouldn't go with MasterCard on a Visa presentation. So I want to start with a little movie. Okay, I will stop the video here. I don't know if you managed to figure out what this is, but this is Minority Report, and this is the marketing based on retina scanning for people. If this is the future of how the world would look like in terms of marketing, then I personally feel very sad about this future. When it comes to payments, however, I guess it's a different story. The world over the last decade and even more than that experienced a massive growth in the global card use. And the reasons for this are many, but I will just mention a few of them. So cards are very convenient. They store a lot of value, and they are just as good as cash. Then the security of these cards improved significantly over the last decade. And also the governments are definitely pushing for more use of card payments simply because that increases the control over the money flow. On top of that, there is another aspect that's driving this increase in the card acceptance, and this is the card acceptance market. Up until now, as you can see on the left-hand side of this chart, most of the big merchants, they were, of course, served well by the traditional players afford to use or to accept cards. And just to name a few, think of taxis, delivery services, mobile sales. All of these guys in the past, they were completely unable to get to a point where they can use cards simply because it was very expensive for them. With the change of technology, this is changing, and definitely there is going to be a lot more to see in this space with new products that also include soft POS, that also includes other solutions, including wallets. So this card acceptance market is probably one of the fastest growing in the world over the last 10 years. Where is the payments market concentrated? As you can see in blue, these are the largest global markets, and I can say that 1/3 of the global volume is in USA and about 1/3 is in China. The rest is in Europe, but there are new places in the world where the payments are growing very rapidly, and these places are to the very large extent increasing the size of the market by just growing their existing customers or merchants base and by adopting more and more technologies and going down and down market. And why do I say this? Simply because the way these people interact today is through a transaction. I just took from Google the definition of transaction just to try to make a point here. These people, the merchants and the consumers, they meet, they create a transaction, and then they leave, and they continue with their lives. And this is how it looks like. They completely they live in completely different environments and in completely different realms, and each one of them, they care about their own stuff. There is no interaction. We believe, at least in the company I work for, SumUp, we believe that the world is going to a place where the transaction is going to transition into interaction. And if you have seen my previous slide where I show the definition of transaction, you can see that the third row shows an interchange of interaction between people. According to Google, this is in the intellectual sense, the interaction is this exchange between two people, exchange of interaction between two people in the intellectual sense. Now to take a step back and to explain a little division in the world, or how the world operates right now when it comes to payments and when it comes to especially card acceptance. But payments is not only card acceptance, to be clear. The West, you have US and Western Europe and Eastern Europe to some extent. This market is dominated by the large card issuers and the large acquirers. The market is dominated by plastic or digital cards. Of course, the market is changing, but of course, Visa and MasterCard, as organizations with big influence over this market, they can impose higher security standards. All the specialized services, including accounting, invoicing, payments, loyalty, and all these other things, they are offered additionally by other organizations, and they are not part of the whole thing. And then the market is addressing different segments of the market. Think about big acquirers, they only address the merchants, while banks or neobanks, they address only the customers. In the East, we have WeChat, we have Alipay, and they are based on digital wallets. Their security standards are not as good as the ones of the card schemes, of course, but they have super apps that are covering more than one need. And they are not even super apps. I mean, I just realized that probably this is not a super app or the definition of super app. And then these players are addressing both merchants and consumers altogether. So what is going to happen if we combine the best of both worlds? If we can create one platform for all the needs, where plastic and digital cards and wallets can work together, where all these higher security standards are included in the product offering, where the market participants address both merchants and consumers, and it's all based on a pay-as-you-go model. where you don't need to pay any kind of fixed fee or anything like that. And then on top of that, you throw added value services in the sense and form of loyalty, sense and form of invoicing, accounting, card issuing for consumers and merchants, and a ton of other things that you can throw on top. And this is how this whole ecosystem looks like. Basically, with this, you can cover pretty much all the needs of the two people who interact when they do a transaction, and then the subsequent needs after the transaction or interaction is done. So this is how we see the world, and then when it comes to participants on the market, because it's not only about product, it's about who is developing the product. Right now, definitely there are several big companies in this world, but our view is that the market is going to grow, and there are going to be more participants with these super apps addressing different or all the needs of the customers, and these companies are going to be based in different places in the world. Probably a good example of a company that is trying to operate in this space is, to some extent, PayPal. But again, they're still lacking these added value services. And I'm not saying that the smaller players, smaller participants to the market are going to go extinct. Definitely, we see an opportunity for consolidation of the market, and we see an opportunity for market players who are addressing one side of the equation, joining forces in order to be able to compete in a global scale with the other players. There is an opportunity for that, but of course the market is going to remain dominated by several big players and a few smaller companies who are trying to then disrupt all these big players. And now this is the world as we see it in the next 10 years. I don't think that we are going to see what we saw in the movie that I played at the beginning. But let's see, you never know. I know that there were transactions about companies who are introducing pay with face, and also biometrics is growing and is increasing its relevance in the space. So let's see, maybe in 10 years I will be surprised, or we will all be surprised. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I was thinking while I was listening to you, do you think that a super app, just like the ones that have developed in China in the recent years, will come out of Bulgaria?
I don't think that it's possible any such app to come from such a small market as a standalone app. However, I think that Bulgaria will have its place in this global fintech environment. And then I see a lot of companies that are already in the space, a lot of companies that are growing in the space and introducing new products. Plus, if you think about it, Bulgarian market when it comes to fintechs and especially when it comes to payments is pretty big, and I didn't realize this until very recently. You have SumUp, you have PaySafe, you have MyPOS, you have Notolytix. There are a few other guys who are here with us on this call speaking. Also, Paynetics is here with their very innovative solution, FOS. So definitely, there are a lot of players that are already in Bulgaria and that are going to address this market somehow. And definitely, throughout the consolidation, or maybe there is going to be a player from Bulgaria who is going to consolidate the market. But unfortunately, I don't see this happening simply because the size of the companies and the potential of these companies as a standalone market is very small, and I don't expect a Bulgarian company to become a market consolidator.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting insights, Stoil, especially this transaction interaction point of view. I never thought about it this way, so thank you very much. for sharing it with us. Now we are all done with our startup pitches. We are all done with the other things that we have planned for today. So I want to give Daniel the final words to close this day, this demo day for us, and I will leave you the thanks. So I will not do that.
Right. So thank you, Renee. Thank you, everybody, for being with us this morning. And thanks to the founders for all their hard work. I would like to say that I'm very happy with the progress that, as Evi said in the beginning, that we've done for the last 2 years. As this initiative with Visa became a real engine for actually helping startups innovate and deliver products to the market in a very regulated industry with high barriers to entry, and we've made it possible. So, and I've seen, despite the skepticism in the very beginning from different stakeholders, I see now more banks, more non-financial, non-banking financial institutions that were sitting on the sidelines in the very beginning. Now they're engaging more and more. So it's really very encouraging because you know we have this mission at 11 that we empower local talent, local heroes to build global success, and what we've built with this innovation program is just one of the major parts of the platform with which we support actually entrepreneurs to build these great products and services. And this format works very well because it's again it delivers innovation to the corporations, so they could by engaging with the local ecosystem they could stay relevant, they could build competitive edge, and they could launch new products and services. So I'm really happy, and I'm looking forward to see much more interesting companies in the future from the whole region. It's becoming more coherent. We see now more companies like startups from the different countries collaborating among each other. But the more interesting thing is that we see now situations where a bank from Greece is actually using a product from Bulgaria and vice versa, which is really very encouraging. And finally, I would like to thank very much Visa, Sevi, and Ozan for believing in our mission in helping talent, local talent, and boosting innovation, because they really were the trailblazers in this field in the region. And there were many no-sayers in the very beginning that such things cannot happen in Bulgaria. I've heard it many times, and as one good friend used to tell me years ago, when there are so many naysayers around you, you should know that you're on the right path. So I would like to finish with that because the founders are hearing this all the time, you guys are just on the right path. So good luck to everybody.
Excellent. Thank you for a wonderful closing. Thank you, everyone, and the 11 team for making this happen, this demo day happen. To all of us here in the studio, I feel like on television. It's really cool. But I have to say, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in person next time.
So do I, by the way.
Stay healthy, guys. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and we'll see you live next time. Perfect. Demo day out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done.